You know how they say Justin Trudeau is controlled by the World Economic Forum? Mark Carney is the World Economic Forum. Just when I thought things couldn't get weirder, you have somebody who isn't even a MP. Mark Carney announced his leadership bid for his race for the leadership race, or bid for the leadership race, for crying out loud. Oh my God, I've done this so many times. On an American talk show, on The Daily Show or whatever the hell it's called. This is bizarre. This has never happened before. Why wouldn't he announce it on a Canadian news? Like this is what's so weird right now about Canada. Even Justin Trudeau is hiding from Canadian media, and he's running to American talk shows and American TV hosts instead of focusing here on Canada, since he's a Canadian prime minister. I don't get it. I feel like it's a way of trying to sway over public opinion in America. It's like, oh, good. Those are the good guys. It's bizarre. It's manipulative. And I feel like it's actually a form of gaslighting. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do encourage you all to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. We're on route to 500,000 subscribers. It'd be pretty cool if we got there before an election or right around an election. We're taking a look at who's now running in the leadership race. Spoiler, that's Mark Carney. Who's not running in the leadership race. We're going to get to that in a minute. And then we're going to be taking a look at what the heck is actually going on with the leadership race and how Canada is kind of controlled by the World Economic Forum and how Mark Carney is really bad. And if we have time at the end, we're going to talk about the tariffs and how the premiers are banding together. But I don't know if I'll actually be able to fit that in. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with the polls. For those that haven't seen it in the previous video, Pierre poilievre is sitting at 237 projected seats with a bottom line of 211, which is massive, instrumental. Justin Trudeau and his band of liberal misfits at 37 seats. And the NDP is actually tanking down to 22 projected seats. So that's kind of interesting, but it's still 99% likely across the board for the Conservatives of winning the most seats and odds of a majority government. So what the Liberals are racing right now to do, I don't actually know if anyone on the Liberal Party thinks that they can, take it out of the Titanic state right now and get more popularity and beat Pierre. That would really feel like a 1 in a million chance. I don't know if that's even possible, but it feels like they're racing to see who can be the opposition party, the Liberals and the NDP. And if it's Mark Carney that wins, I think that Jagmeet Singh is going to be completely irrelevant. And then you're going to see him announce his resignation or not running in a form of a re-election. But that's just my opinion. Let's get into who is and isn't running in the Liberal leadership race. So moments ago, like 6 minutes ago, that's how fast I am for you folks. Industry Minister François-Philippe Champagne, also known as the Chihuahua that I like to call him, officially bows out of the leadership race. So there you go. And they haven't yet announced Karina Gould's position, but I'm going to put like $10 on it and say that Karina Gould is not going to run for the leadership race. She doesn't stand a chance against Mark Carney, and she doesn't stand a chance against Chrystia Freeland. And so you're actually seeing a lot of these people that were speculating on whether or not they were going to run. And this happened with Anita Anand. She was thinking that she might run, and then she not only bowed out of the leadership race, but she also announced that she's not running for re-election. And so I think that you're going to start to see, the closer we get to an election, Champagne is going to announce that he is resigning or not running for re-election, and same with Karina Gould. So when it comes down to the leadership race, you heard it from me. I mean, Chrystia Freeland hasn't yet made it official, but it's going to come down to Mark Carney and Freeland, with the front runner rather is probably going to be Mark Carney. All signs are leading that Mark Carney is going to be the next party leader, which is super crazy. And for anyone who was thinking that Christy Clark was going to run, well, there was also some breaking news not too long ago this morning that Christy Clark is not running. She's not running. She's not running for Liberal leadership race.
And this just in. Former BC Premier Chrystia Clark will not be running. She thanks Canadians for their support, but says she has made the difficult decision to step back, in part to give her and them time to improve her French. All right, let's turn to CTV's senior political correspondent Mike Lecouture with more on this breaking news.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole different. That's a different outlook than that one dude, right? That Indian fella there who barely spoke English, and he didn't speak any French, and he's like, it doesn't matter. People from Quebec and Canada, doesn't matter if they can't understand me or if I don't speak French. It's about the messaging. Yeah, no, that's not how that's going to work. Any Prime Minister of Canada will always be fluent in French and in English, like equally, to be able to go from one to the other seamlessly. Pierre Poilievre, very good at that. Justin Trudeau, I mean, his language is actually quite good. I hate to say that about him. Chrystia Clark, she's just not going to fit the bill. Freeland can also do it pretty seamlessly. And Mark Carney, I believe that he could flip-flop between languages as well.
Is not going to be throwing her hat into the ring. Hi there, Mike. What more are you learning? We had heard before that Chrystia Clark was brushing up on her French, trying to learn French.
Yeah, that's what we understand as well. And she has written in this letter to supporters essentially saying that there wasn't enough time in this leadership race and that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau didn't leave the party enough time for a fulsome race. We're also learning that there was a very emotional call with her core team where Chrystia Clark basically said that she didn't see a path forward here, and she believed that a lot of other teams maybe had more time to gather that type of support. She also writes in this letter that there are important issues that still need to be tackled, confronting the U.S., fighting for a strong, united Canada, and restoring faith in our institutions. But as I had said, in this letter, she says, there simply is not enough time to mount a successful campaign for me and to effectively connect with Francophone Canadians in their language. That, of course, something that is essential, but something else, Marcia, that I think is interesting. All of this comes just a couple of days after it was discovered that Chrystia Clark had signed up to be a member of the Conservative Party. She explains that it was to stop Pierre Poilievre and to support Jean Charest. But of course, you can't be the member of two parties at the same time. She had said she had been a lifelong Liberal, but at the same time, she said in this interview and was caught basically saying that, yes, she did actually become a Conservative for a certain period of time. That may have contributed to this, of course, because imagine a leadership race where she tries to explain how deeply she is ingrained and ingratiated into this party. That would be a difficult one to have, especially when you consider some of the other leadership contenders, as you've laid out here. Mark Carney yesterday on The Daily Show, Chrystia Freeland expecting that Karina Gould as well will announce. And she again said, I won't be in this leadership race, but I won't stop fighting. Perhaps setting up another leadership race down the...
Yeah, no, that's just not going to happen. Nobody really cares enough about Chrystia Clark. She's not popular enough. It's super bizarre. This leadership race for the leader of the Liberal Party is coming down to two people, with 75% chance of it being Mark Carney, who successfully wins, and then 25% chance Chrystia Freeland. But never mind those odds. Let's take a look now at this extremely bizarre, never been done before announcement of running for a Canadian party while on an American talk show. Like, I don't understand the logic, and I certainly don't understand the strategy, but it doesn't matter what I think. Let's take a look at what actually happened.
It's really difficult for a candidate to come in who is saddled with the policies that are on.
But let's say,
oh boy,
let's say, just throwing out a
look
wild
at you trying to preserve the relationship all of a sudden.
A wild hypothetical. Let's say the candidate wasn't part of the government. Let's say the candidate did have a lot of economic experience. Let's say the candidate did deal with crises. Let's say the candidate had a plan to deal with the challenges.
Sneaky, you're running it.
This is what's kind of scary about this guy. This is what's scary, is he has a lot of economic background, and his reputation across Canada. I don't like him. You don't like him. But a lot of normies out there don't mind him. That's what's fucking scary, man.
As an outsider.
I am an outsider.
Wow, that's all. So you're going to be coming in there to say, I have not been in the government. I have worked in the financial markets. I understand all the things that go around.
And his reputation to a lot of people is navigating the ins and outs of the worst economic crash, which happened in 2008. Because Mark Carney's resume shows that he's an economist and a banker who served as the eighth governor of the Bank of Canada from 2008 to 2013, and the 120th governor of the Bank of England from 2013 to 2020. So he handled the 2008 crash, and then he was also working during part of the blip, which are extremely difficult spots to be in. I'm not trying to defend Mark Carney by any means at all, but what I am saying is that to a lot of normies, he checks a lot of boxes. He's a political outsider. He hasn't been corrupted by Justin Trudeau or the Liberal Party. He's not even a fucking federal MP, which is going to be crazy because we're quite literally, we could be seeing the first ever unelected interim prime minister, or unelected but elected as a party leader of a party here in Canada. It's super, super bizarre, and there should be kind of rules to safeguard around this in the future, but I don't like it. I don't like the guy. The best way to describe Mark Carney is this, and if anyone is asking you for, what's wrong with Mark Carney, send them this clip, screen record it and send them this clip. You know how they say Justin Trudeau is controlled by the World Economic Forum? Mark Carney is the World Economic Forum. He's the big boss. He's the bad guy. He talks to the puppet masters that were controlling Justin Trudeau and had a piece of that. That's how big of a deal he is with the World Economic Forum. Justin Trudeau was an employee of the World Economic Forum, right? These metaphors. And he was on the board of directors of the World Economic Forum, or a massive shareholder. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Mark Carney is bad. He's almost like the devil. He's really, really a wolf in sheep's clothing. Not to be trusted, certainly not to be voted for. But that's my opinion, folks. I would love to know yours. I also want to know what you guys think about the fact that he announced his leadership bid on an American show. It's not all that surprising, considering I'm a little bit desensitized to the fact that Justin Trudeau did not one, but two American show interviews in the past couple of weeks. You did CNN and then MSNBC. And then you have Mark Carney, who's like following suit. But it's still extremely weird and also never really been done before. And then you have Pierre Poilievre, excuse me, who says this about Mark Carney on X. Carbon tax Carney is the ultimate liberal insider. He is the chair of Trudeau's task force on economic growth and advised the Liberal government for years before that. And now he campaigns for the same liberal policies that tax your work, double housing costs, and hike the carbon tax to 61 cents a liter. So this is becoming more and more interesting by the day. You have the regular MPs that will not stand a chance. Francois Champagne, Anita Anand, they didn't stand a chance in a million years to go up against Mark Carney for a leadership race for the Liberal Party. It's not happening. Chrystia Freeland she's the only MP that kind of stands a chance, but not really. I mean, Carney has a better reputation than Chrystia Freeland because he's been in the shadows, even though he's contributed to a lot of our economic downfall here in Canada and our crappy, cost of living and quality of life. He's been in the shadows. He hasn't been an MP. And so that's what makes it very, very scary. But again, that's my opinion, folks. I would love to know yours. That is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in another one. Bye for now.